Mentally and physically, I'm in the best shape of my life I've ever been. And I'm 44, I'll be 45 January 14th. That was 225 pounds, you know? I'm 6'2", a little bit overweight. Now I fluctuate 190, 195. You know, I wake up at 3 in the morning religiously and do yoga. My name is Johnny Ariano. Hanging out with my friends, it was usually just sharing an eighth of mushroom tea, having like what you call the midi dose. We're not really having like a crazy experience, but just hanging out, having a good time. LSD, taking little bits of tabs here and there. And a first high dose experience with LSD actually made me feel, because I was in a situation where I didn't belong and things weren't going right in my life and I needed to move. That's what got me to move up here to Washington State. It took 5 hits of paper blotters, and there was a point in my life where I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, I didn't have any intimate relationships. I just had this party crew, people who lived with me, a bunch of roommates, and got tired of waking up, walking over people, passed out sleeping while I went to work. But that experience, you know, I won't go into detail about it because it gets crazy, but it was tunnels, and then afterwards the sun was rising. I was on the roof of my house because I didn't like the people that were inside. So I went up onto the roof and enjoyed the stars and closed my eyes and went deep. And then the sun was rising and the clouds were pink. It was beautiful. And it was like this dragon was just going over the sunrise and like telling me to go north. And my parents had moved to Washington before me. And I was like, all right, I'm done. Told my roommates, we got a month's notice, I'm moving out. And then I moved to Washington State. And from there, it was wonderful. I found the love of my life, you know, I started a family and didn't really touch psychedelic drugs at all. It was pretty much just maybe once in a while somebody would say, hey, I got 8 the shrooms, and we would make a tea, and it was mellow and chill, nothing crazy. And then life went on, 3 beautiful kids, got a house and 2 dogs and a cat. You know, it was great. And then, you know, the internet and social media and podcasting became huge, and I got into that, and that kind of gets me through my workday. And then Joe Rogan, huge fan, and had Michael Pollan on there, and I was just like, whoa, what? You can do what? How to change your mind. And that was, all right, I downloaded that audiobook, listened to that audiobook, and it was like, all right, so there's something to these substances. I had a crazy experience, was like, whoa, what the heck was that? But had no idea what exactly it was and what could it do. And then after listening to his story throughout the book and all the substances, I was like, I gotta try this differently. So I did. I made the intention for sober October. I was completely sober all through October. I downloaded the Calm app and picked up meditation, and I set an intention to just like, it was more of a self-exploration of my consciousness. I mean, I was happy, you know, things were okay, and that experience was crazy. It was like the Kundalini chakra colors were just, I was traveling through all those. It was just amazing. I went through space, the clouds. It was like the cosmos were right there in front of me, and then a flash of light just hit me with all the love and gratitude in the world. And I was crying, and it was just so, the connection to everything was just so strong. And then I thought, wow, I've never had experience. The only other experience I could ever compare to that, and I know this is cliche because people compare these two together, but it's true. Like, I was in the birthing room when my son was born, and I was holding my wife's legs up, and I watched him come out, the whole thing, and the feeling I had in my heart, that love, was just like, that's the only thing, you know, the whole thing, I was there, front row view, and the nurse looks at me, and she's like, Dad, are you okay? And I was like, I am the best I've ever been. I understand why men will hit the ground and pass out, but that's the only thing you can compare it to. And I'm getting chills just, you know, thinking of the experiences. So it's like, wow, it was life-changing. And then from that point on, I was like, you know, there's so much more to life, and I want to be the best person I could be. And that put me on the path to becoming the best version of myself. I changed my diet. I continued with the meditation. I yoga, exercise daily. It just kind of like put me on the path to be a better person. And then I told myself, this is something I want to do on a yearly basis. I've never had an actual sitter or trip sitter. I just consumed all the information I could possibly find on the internet, social media. Clubhouse was a good place. I just tuned into different rooms in there and listened to people talk about their experiences and how they do their integration. And I was like, integration, what is that? So I was like, all right, so there's more to this. It wasn't like, take this and you're gonna be better. It's take this and work with somebody and you can, be better. And I was like, maybe that's something I wanna do. Maybe I wanna be an integration coach. Still kind of juggling all these things around. So then it's like every year I come across a substance, and then got to the point where it's like, know your source. Where is the medicine coming from? It's not just some guy selling the drugs on the street or growing it with intention, So I started finding people who were doing it with intention, growing it with intention, and had different experiences with those too. And they all taught me something valuable. And I was like, I'm going to start growing my own because I want to put my intention into what I grow so I can do that stuff with me. And I want to go on a microdosing regimen, and it gets expensive spending $75 for 5 grams when you could, after learning how easy it is to grow these things, you're like, wow, I can do this, make my own medicine, and be a better person.